Yes, so we are recording right now, and hello, welcome to August 22nd's Women in Product Toastmasters meeting, a club meeting. I am your Sergeant at Arms, Shruti Patra. Today, our theme is user testing. I hope I got that right. Um, yeah, and so a good product is always built around users and their needs, and the difficult aspect of it is to understand if you have got your product right. So there are many ways of how you can get feedback from your users. So we'll talk a bit more about it and see what other Toastmaster members have to talk about it. So um, thank you. So at this time, I would like to introduce our president, Erica Tambor, Tamburo. Sorry if I hope I got your name right, Erica. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Happy to have you testing out SAA today. Welcome everybody to the Women in Product Toastmasters Club. This month's club theme has been visibility. We started off the month talking about personal branding, and today we're going to conclude it talking about dream careers. So hopefully that's given you some momentum and some goals to make you and your dreams more visible in the world. So to start off the meeting, I'm going to go through some club announcements first. We have a schedule shift, so our next meeting is September 12th. How is it September already? And then we'll meet every week until May, and then we'll do another shift because holidays and Sundays. Dues are due. You should have received an email from Rosie, $54 paid via PayPal. Please have that in by September 7th, if not sooner. We'll make Rosie's life a little bit more easy and less stressful. The Toastmasters International Convention is next week if you'd like to check it out. We are having a club open house on September 12th. So if you know anybody that you've been wanting to invite to a club meeting, that would be a good meeting to invite them to. We are kicking off the Women in Product Toastmasters mentoring program. So check out your email. There's a survey in there. It'll ask you how you would like to participate. And it's also asked you to share some of your celebrations over the past year, if you would like to. We have a call to action. Volunteers are needed to help with launching the group Women in Product Toastmasters website. If you would like to participate and help Anwisha out, please reach out to Anwisha. And if you have any questions following today's meeting on pathways or in general, Lori will be sticking around and some of us to talk more about pathways if you have any questions. We almost have everybody enrolled. If you're not enrolled yet, please take a minute and get that done. And yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome our guests. I have to change my view here so I can see you. Yeah, so I invite you, today we're talking about dream careers. So I invite you to share with us what your dream is in terms of your career. So let's see. Samoya? Did I say that wrong? I feel like you've been here before and now I'm still thinking.
No, this is my first meeting. Hello, everyone. I'm Soumya. I am a women in product. I have been part of the Facebook community for a while. I just moved back to the Bay Area, and I joined a different Toastmasters club. And then I found out there's a WIP Toastmasters club, and I thought that would be a great place to connect with other product managers, talk about day-to-day things that we do in product. I work at a small startup, and having this external group of PMs to share the product world with is very helpful. My dream career is to start my own company. I want to be I want to start something of my own within the next year. So I'm looking for ideas, trying to look for co-founders once I have finalized an idea.
Welcome. That's a very exciting dream. There's a couple of people in the group that have started their own companies or in the progress of starting their own companies. So I'm glad you found us.
Yes.
Are there any other? I do not see any other guests. If I've missed you, please speak up. Without further ado, I will introduce our Toastmaster of the day. My paper. Sarah. Sarah is our Toastmaster of the day. She is currently a CRM product manager in government. Being the first PM means that Sarah not only builds strategy and roadmap, but also conducts experience vision, continuous discovery, and leads product operation for service designs. Her dream role is director of product. And in that capacity, she would create an innovation lab to build robust products and services. Very excited that you are the Toastmaster for the day today, Sarah. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I am so excited about today's theme, which was selected by our membership, Dream Product Manager Role and Career. When I first saw this on our schedule, I immediately thought about an episode of Oprah Winfrey that I saw many, many years ago, where she had called down one of her contestants or one of the audience members and offered her anything that she wanted. And this particular person either chose a car or an appliance of some type. I don't remember what was actually chosen. What I do remember was that after Oprah gifted this, she said to that participant, "Why did you choose that?" She goes, "I could have given you anything to your heart's content. I would have moved mountains. You need to dream big." And for some reason, that stuck in the back of my mind. So let's talk about dreaming big. I'm so excited to hear about from our aspiring product managers, as well as those who've been in product management for a while, to find out what all of our dreams are. And I also wanted to introduce a book. It's called The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly. And it talks about leadership's responsibility to their staff and understanding what their dreams are and helping them work towards that. So I thought that was a really unique perspective. I highly recommend the book. So without ado, let's talk about the structure of our meeting today. Our meeting is in 3 different sections. Our first section are the prepared speeches. As an overview of our VIP speakers today, we are going to be having Erica Tambaro for our first speaker, Elena Krotenko as our second speaker, and Lori Edwards for our third speaker. We're going to pause for a minute between the different speeches. This will then open the floor to audience members to ask questions of our speakers. Then we're going to move into table topics round, and this is an excellent way for us to practice impromptu speaking, which is very important, and it will be led by our Kirsten Archer. Guests, again, are welcome to participate. The third part of our meeting are the evaluation round, and these are evaluations of our prepared speeches. This section will be led by Amy Kirkland, and she'll be supported by speech evaluators Tanya Sodolnik, Svetlana Bezinian, and Marguerite Osley. Monique Tucker is our counter today, and she will keep track of our uhs, ums, so's, and pregnant pauses. Jennifer Ginsburg is our timer, and she will track how well the prepared speeches and table topics fit within our targeted time frame. Yen Lin Tihao is our vote counter, and she will help tally votes for today's best table topics. And Heather Elliott is our grammarian, and she will track our use of grammar and word usage. Speaking of grammarian, we have a tradition in our club of sharing the word of the day so that everyone who participates can use it. But first, I'd like to introduce our grammarian. She started in a fintech startup, and then she pursued her interest in environmental design. Today, she's looking for opportunities in product, marketing, or related area. So with that, I invite Heather to introduce the word of the day. Heather?
Hi, thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. So, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, as grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is cadence, which means the definition of cadence, there's a few of them, a rhythmic sequence or flow of sounds in language, the beat time or measure of rhythmical motion or activity, a regular and repeated pattern of activity, a falling inflection of the voice, a concluding and usually falling strain, the modulated and rhythmic recurrence of a sound, especially in nature. So a couple of examples are, the first one is, in addition to our weekly cadence, we take a step back once a quarter to think about our platform a little more strategically. The second one is, to meet its cadence of a launch every other week, SpaceX must build at least 2 of these each month. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Sarah.
Thank you, Heather. Now, to keep with the cadence of our meeting, we're going to begin our prepared speech portion. I find this part of the meeting to be inspiring to hear stories directly from our VIP speakers. Our first speaker is our club president. She's currently in a product role that she's always dreamed of. In this startup, she's thrilled to focus on defining the future of a product, grant writing, building partnerships, and playing with robots. Yes, that's right, robots. Having recently joined Smart Girls, and that's GURLZ, an ed tech company that teaches young girls to code through its coding robots, here to present her project on evaluation and feedback from the Pathways Visionary Communication, please help me welcome Erica Tamburo with her speech, How Creativity Led Me to Product Management. How Creativity Led Me to Product Management, Erica Tamburo.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Lovely introduction. Yeah, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, what is it that you dream of? What a beautiful theme for today's meeting. I hope you've all had the opportunity to take some time and reflect on that question, to make some big, audacious plans. Today, we're going to go on a little journey. We're going to start back in time, explore how our dreams started and where we're headed. This will be an interactive session, so be prepared. Do you remember what 8 or 9-year-old you wanted to be when you grew up? It certainly was not a product manager. You didn't know what that was back then. It was something that you found fascinating or fun. Share it in the chat if you don't mind. I think it would be cool to kind of reflect and remember. I wanted to be an ichthyologist. I liked the word, it was pretty cool. And I also thought that fish and sharks were cool. I thought they were so beautiful and fascinating, which was interesting since Jaws made me terrified of swimming in swimming pools. And as it turns out, I get terribly seasick. Now that we're older, we all have this fabulous experience behind us and we have different dreams. So what is your dream job? Go ahead and share that in the chat if you'd like. What's the impact that you hope to have on the world? And what is it that you dream of for your career moving forward? For me, I want to make a difference in the world. I want to create things that have a big social impact, which is the same motivation that had me go into biomedical engineering. As Minal shared during her speech in the last meeting, not many people understand what bioengineering is, and sometimes we don't know what we do either. But a number of you have STEM backgrounds and are pivoting into product, and I thought it would be fun to share some STEM skills and how they transfer into product management. There are many, many qualities of a good product manager today, of a good product manager. And it was really hard to just pick a few. Like Lori said, we could talk about this topic for hours probably. But today I'm going to talk about a level of product, user-focused experience, data, and if there's time, some collaboration stuff too. For me, there are two common themes or values that really center my experience. Number one is making a difference, which I already shared, and number two is creativity. So we'll jump in. The first is a love of product. For all of us at some point, we developed a love of product. For those of us in STEM, it likely started with creating something and evolved into something more. So the interactive part again. Do you remember when you had your oh wow moment? When you were like, oh my God, product? If you don't mind, share that in the chat as well. For me, stars aligned in 2003. I was close to graduating with my degree in bioengineering and was yet to be truly passionate about my coursework. You could tell who was going to go on to be a biomechanist or go into signals and processing. I was still searching until I sat in my senior design class. And holy cow, was it cool. The task of creating something was so exciting, learning the design process, learning how to define a problem, connect with users, leading a team. I still find it really super exciting. And this was where my creativity first had the opportunity to come out. And for me, I was really able to shine. We won competitions, got press coverage. And as it turns out, I was an entrepreneur at heart. I had no idea. Next is user focus and experience, a very important product management skill. Now, this is one that you may or may not have had experience with, depending on what your technical work has entailed. And this is one I highly recommend you look for opportunities to experience and learn more about. My path led me to rehabilitation technology and design. And it was through my work with people with disabilities that I learned that you absolutely cannot design anything for anybody that you do not understand. I would watch engineers over-engineer so many things and design things that failed because the end user couldn't use them. For example, I was on a project for developing a pelvic restraint. So instead of a seat belt, this would go around somebody's pelvis. And it was made of metal and it would attach to a wheelchair. Our advisor decided on a materials change that would add like 8 pounds to somebody's wheelchair. 8 pounds is a lot. 2 pounds can make somebody's wheelchair unusable. So I learned some really important lessons. I learned to step away. I gained greater user focus and experience that I would carry with me for the rest of my life. I also learned that creativity was not absolutely welcomed in all areas, and that it can delay innovation. The third skill of a product manager is understanding and wanting data. So if you are in STEM, all of us have experience with data and are hopefully learning how important data is. My experiences, I learned that I couldn't create sound research without sound data methods and understanding what I wanted to measure and how to collect it and how to use it. So just with business KPIs, research data needs to measure the right thing. And it was during my development of internal products that I learned that it's important to collect performance indicators as well as create data with it. So what I love about data is that you can use it to explore the unknown or create cases for your product that excites people. So these are just a few of the qualities that make for a successful product manager. I'd like to know what qualities you've developed over the years that has led you to your dream job. For me, I just joined Smart Girls. I'm excited about inspiring the next generation of girls and boys in STEM careers and to play with robots. In closing, I love this quote by Ed Catmull, president of Pixar Animation, from his book Creativity, Inc. Change is inevitable. Working with change is what creativity is about. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Erica. Jennifer, can we have about a minute on the clock I'd like to open the floor. If anyone has a question for Erica, please unmute yourself.
So Sarah, I'll just go ahead and I'm timing it and it'll turn red when we hit the minute.
Perfect. Thank you, Jennifer.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Smart Girls?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So Sharmi, the CEO of Smart Girls, was noticed that her daughter didn't have many alternatives when it came to learning robotics that wasn't very masculine. So, you know, if you think the vision you have in your head of a robot is something very cold and calculating, maybe Terminator-ish. And she thought she wanted to design something that a young girl like grade 3 would want to play with. So based on products that girls already played with. So dolls. So the product is a doll that rides on a scooter. It's a robot. So it's something that a kid would want to play with at that age and be introduced to coding through. It's got a really simple blocks coding app. So you can learn how to code and drive your Ziggy robot around, and it's pretty cool.
I checked out the website. It's so exciting. I want one. Thank you so much. Now to continue on, our second speaker has previously served as a club officer. She currently works as Vice President of Marketing and Guest Services at a local San Francisco bus tour operator. Her future is bright as she looks forward to transitioning to a product marketing role in the near future. Here to present her project on leadership style from Pathways Persuasive Influence, please help me welcome Olena Krotenko with her speech, Where Do You See Yourself in 5 Years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Olena Krotenko.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is your dream product manager role? Do you have a clear vision for your career path? I invite you to explore these topics today and create your own career vision by the end of my speech. But before we dive in, let's remind ourselves what a vision is. A vision is a powerful statement that defines where you want to go and ultimately what goal you want to accomplish. A vision statement should be 1 sentence long and should be revised about once a year. It should be clear, concise, and inspirational. Now I want to invite you to do a fun little exercise with me. Please close your eyes. Please close your eyes for just a little minute and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Where will you be? What do you see yourself doing? Who are you surrounded by? What does success look like? Take a moment here. Do you see a clear picture? Or is the answer blurry and uncertain? Today, I want to help you to make the picture clear. So, I hope you have a pen and paper handy as we're going to build your career vision now. To do that, we first need to answer 4 questions. Question number 1, what type of product manager would you like to be? Because not all product management roles are created equal, let's dive into different types of product managers. There's a lot, so I suggest we focus on 4 main ones. So the first is the B2C product manager. These PMs usually build consumer-facing features. These PMs have to be really good with UX and data, and they need to have a strong understanding of users and know their metrics. Good company examples can be Airbnb and Fitbit. The second type of PMs is B2B. And these are responsible for building software as a service products, also known as SaaS products. B2B PMs need to know the technology workflows and how the platforms work. Good company examples would be Zendesk, Cisco, Oracle. Third type would be product manager, that's known as a technical PM. Of course, for this one, you will definitely need lots of technical skills and probably coming from an engineering background. Companies who hire technical PMs a lot are Google Cloud or Amazon WS. The last product manager role is the growth product manager. This role usually exists within an early stage high growth company that's looking for a product manager to grow their user base fast and their revenue as well. And growth PMs need to be strong in data and business sense. Company examples can be TikTok, Pinterest, Uber Eats. So let's sum it up. We have B2C, B2B, growth PM, and technical PM. Which one fits you better? When I had to answer the question, I decided that a B2C growth PM fits my skill set best. And what about you? Please write down your answer. Let's table that for now and move on to our second question. What is your dream product manager position? Here we need to figure out what position would you like to hold in 5 years? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to be a director? Maybe vice president or chief product officer? Remain ambitious but realistic when answering this question. If you ask me, I would love to be a director of product 5 years from now. I hope you have an answer for this one. Please write it down. The next important question to answer is, what type of organization would you like to work at? Do you want to be a big fish in a small pond? Then probably a small company or startup would be a better fit. Or would you like to work at a mid-sized company that has 50 to maybe 250 employees? For me, coming from a small business, I would love to join a big company and experience the corporate world. And what about you? Please write your answer down. Question number 4. What industry excites you the most? Is it the one you're currently in? Or would you like to challenge yourself and try something different, shift gears and go to a different area? I would personally stick with the travel industry that I'm currently in and I love, but I would love to join a company in the tour tech space. I hope you found an answer for this question as well. Well, now that we're doing so great and answered all 4 questions, how about a bonus question? Time frame. What's the time frame for our achievements? I believe that a time frame that is 2 to 3 years from now is too short, and a vision that takes 6 to 7 years from now is more of a science fiction. So I recommend going for somewhere between 3 to 5 years from now. So let's recap. Now we've answered 5 questions. What type of product manager would you like to be? What's your dream job position? What type of organization would you like to work at? What industry? And what's the time frame for that? Now it's time to put your vision together. Here's what I got. I want to become a successful B2C or growth product director of product at a large tour tech company like Airbnb by the end of 2024. Feel free to put your own vision together now. You can always add more to your statement and take time to dig into your why. Why do you want to be a product manager? What problems do you hope to solve for the world? And how can you leverage what you love and the skill set you have to deliver value to this world? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm looking forward to hearing your career vision. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Elena. I really appreciate that breakdown. I've never heard it explained in that nature. Thank you. Jennifer, can we please have 1 minute on the clock? And I'd like to open it to the floor for our audience members to ask a question of Elena.
Hi, Elena. Shruti here. I loved your speech. I would like to understand what framework did you use to arrive at your vision? I understand the questions, but how did you arrive at what your vision should be?
I actually joined a cohort. We had a 7-week course for aspiring product managers, and this is one of the frameworks that I had a chance to learn there. It was really helpful for me personally because it didn't have a true North Star, something that, to measure my, accomplishments against. Am I heading the right direction, or am I just all over the place, which usually happens when you're trying to take on a new role and it's very overwhelming. And that really helped to clear up my mind and see what I really want to do in order not to apply for jobs that I really don't want to pursue, or maybe spend too much time on books that actually are not going to help me because my vision is completely different.
Thank you.
Excellent. Now, our third speaker, our final prepared speaker, serves as the club's vice president of education. She enjoys her current role at work, and her 3-year goal is to serve as director or vice president of product, where she can continue to help people transform the next generation of wealth. And here to present her project on Intro to Toastmasters Mentoring from Pathways Visionary Communication, please help me welcome Lori Edwards with her speech, Transforming the Next Generation of Wealth. Transforming the Next Generation of Wealth, Lori Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and welcome fellow members and guests. It's a pleasure speaking to you all on this Sunday morning. But today's not just any Sunday. It's one for the memory books. Today, I join you from my future self. The year is 2025, and I've just accepted an offer for my dream role. Woo! It's with great pleasure that I accept this role as the VP of Product, where my teams will be transforming the next generation of wealth. I joined this company with over 10 years of product management experience across fintech and edtech industries. And I will be using that unique blend of expertise to create a world that empowers people's first through financial freedom. Over the last 10 years, I've tackled many challenges, built multiple high-functioning teams, and launched 2 handfuls of products into this world. Along the way, I've also sprinkled the next generation with financial wellness tips, tricks, and expertise to help them get a head start towards their grandest life adventures. Oh, I should also mention that I've had the luxury of doing this from my home along the river, where I can put my kayak in the afternoon for a quick paddle. Doesn't that sound amazing? But before I get my head too far up in the clouds, let's take a step back and see, how did I even get here? It all started by investing in myself and applying my product management skills to my own career. Lucky for you all today, I will share 4 pro tips to help you make your dreams a reality a lot faster. Those 4 keys to success that I'll be covering today is creating a clear vision, building your personal roadmap, using your voice, and fostering relationships. One of my favorite leaders, Simon Sinek, once said, "Greatness starts with a clear vision of the future." Creating my vision was truly my first step towards success. To create that clarity, I had to dig deep and understand what really matters to me above anything else. So I spent many hours in my favorite thinking spot with a notepad, user interviewing myself. You heard that right. I interviewed myself just as I would a customer using my own products. I put myself in the shoes of 2025 Lori and pondered questions like, what is my dream job? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who do I work with? What's the culture like? Is it fast paced, slow paced? Do I manage people? Do I not manage people? All of these things. By answering these key questions, I was able to paint this clear picture for myself of where I wanted to be in 3 to 5 years. I challenge you to do the same and make your vision so clear that your fears become irrelevant. Now that you've painted your own masterpiece, it's time to shout it from the rooftops. That's right, use your voice and share it with others. This is actually where the magic starts to happen. What I realized is as I shared my vision and energy began generating, bubbling, cultivating around me. It all started in 2021 after I first shared my vision publicly with my Women in Product Toastmasters Club. After that fun Sunday morning, I started getting introduced to people who either shared my same vision or were connected to others in this area of expertise. A ripple effect began to take place, amplifying the energy I had just created. Before I knew it, I had met hundreds of people in this world I dreamed of being in. I gained new insights and expertise that I also launched into the world. Suddenly, I was a sought after VP of product. Everyone wanted me on their team to help them transform the next generation of wealth. With all this energy I had been brewing, at first, I wasn't really sure what to do with it. This brings me to my third pro tip, creating your roadmap. I reached into my product management toolbox and I decided to channel all that energy into a career roadmap. Similar to our product roadmaps, this allowed me to stay focused on my vision and make decisions or pivot quickly. I started my roadmap by taking my 5-year goal and breaking it down into smaller bite-sized achievable pieces. By outlining that path to success, I was able to expedite my journey and propel myself faster than I ever dreamed possible. I know this sounds totally too good to be true, or maybe so easy that even a caveman could do it, but this brings me to my final pro tip, foster relationships. You're probably like, ugh, no, she's totally gonna say networking. I hate networking. I felt the same way for a long time until I realized just how many people at my work were hired because of someone internally referring them. Networking was super intimidating to me, so I decided to try a different route to get started. I took my first large leap with a career coach. In fact, this coach helped me create these tools I'm sharing with you all today using her framework, and she was able to help keep me accountable to my goals by checking in with me on a regular cadence. Besides coaching, you've probably heard other people say that they've worked with a mentor. A mentor is another great way to receive guidance along your career, but it is a little bit different than a coach. Toastmasters describes a coach as somebody who will take control of the method for you reaching your goal. So that framework that was provided to me by a coach helped me get to where I am. Whereas a mentor is more of a support person and allows the mentee to create their own path and try their own things to accomplish their goals. Both can be very beneficial throughout your career and act as a neutral party providing guidance. And just like any other skill, sport, or talent, having someone show you the ropes who's already done it before can drastically save you time, money, and effort. In my experience, these roles help me keep my momentum, learn faster through honest, timely feedback, and make changes quickly if I get off track. There you have it, the secret sauce. Now you're just 4 simple steps away from making your dreams a reality too. Now it's time to take action, create a clear vision, build your personal roadmap, use your voice to share your vision, and foster relationships along the way. As Oprah says, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. If you're up for an added challenge, use your voice to share those dreams with your fellow club members. You never know what kind of magic might happen by the year 2025. As for me, I have to get back to transforming the next generation of wealth, but first I'm headed out for a quick paddle. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Jennifer, can we have 1 minute on the clock, please? And I'd like to open the floor if anyone has any questions for Lori.
Hi, Laurie, this is Richu here. So I'm talking to you in 2024 right now. With that, my question is, what are your next 5-year plans and what framework are you using now?
That's a wonderful question. I would say after 2025 or in 2024, my next goal would be just continuing to make that impact and making sure that our younger generations have easy access to financial literacy tools. So that's what I would be doing.
That's great. Still keeping fintech and edtech together.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. If there aren't any other questions, we can go forward. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Lori. I really enjoyed that. What a treat to hear from all 3 of our esteemed speakers today. So now we're moving on to the second part of our meeting. Table topics. It's one of my favorite because it keeps us on our toes. When asked what 3 characteristics she seeks in her next opportunity, the response was to build inclusivity, which means accessible products, using tech to solve problems at scale, and building products that improve daily life. Well, here to help us improve our impromptu speaking, please help me welcome Kirsten Archer.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and hopefully everyone can hear me and is ready for really, really surprise, tricky questions and to use their imagination and just take themselves to that next plane. I think even if you're just starting out in product or you've been here for quite a few years in the career, dream product careers, as we're hearing from the speeches today, is something I think everybody's interested in. And hopefully everybody has a really strong opinion to share with the group. So as we get into this question and answer cadence, I'd like us to all be just like, let go and imagine. We are not going to hold you to what you answer here today. So just have fun with it. So my first question is to Marguerite. If you could work as a PM in any company around the world, who would you want to work for and why? Could it be Nestle, Ben & Jerry's, maybe Cadbury? What takes your fancy?
Thank you, Kirsten. The first company that comes to mind is the Wikipedia or Wikimedia Foundation. I love Wikipedia. I spend time, I go on wiki journeys, which, as I think people have different terms for this, but you read something and then you click a link in the Wikipedia article, and then you keep going and going down a rabbit hole of Wikipedia articles. But really, I mean, it's something I enjoy, but I also really believe in their mission of putting all this knowledge on the internet and making it available to everyone for free. It's I think democratizing knowledge is extremely important. That's the goal of the internet, is sort of furthering, going along with that, the goal, the original goal of the internet, to give everyone access to whatever knowledge they want access to. And I would love to help them modernize the experience of Wikipedia in particular. But they also have lots of other interesting projects. So I'm up for anything. If anyone knows anyone at the Wikimedia Foundation. Thank you.
I'm talking to myself on mute. Thank you, Marguerite. So hopefully as we're going through this, we might even get people networking on some new career ideas there. So my next question I'd like to pass to Svetlana. So this is question 2 of 7. If we were back at the start of the pandemic and you could be PM of any product in the world, what would you want to be PM for and why? Over to you.
Thank you. So for me, it would be a company called Strava. They are an app that originated as an app for cyclists, and then spread to running, and now to all kinds of sports and all kinds of exercises. And it's meant to basically connect athletes all over the world, and does so. It, I think, was more popular in other countries before it started growing in America. In fact, I didn't realize it was an American company. And I think, so just to, sorry, I'm realizing I forgot the specific question. Apart from like which company I would want to be a PM for, I believe it was, what would I have changed about it?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Or just repeat what you said. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Which product and why? But
Oh,
I think
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so why? Because it allows people to not just connect, but also kind of use each other's reports on activities to calibrate where you can improve yourself, right? And so you can interact with this data as much or as little as you want. But for me, an added aspect that I've been wishing for, and I think if I were a PM there, I would for sure try to test out, is allowing folks to sort of meet for impromptu, for impromptu activities in certain locations. Because right now, while you can form clubs and have all kinds of sort of coalitions for whatever activity you like, whether it's paddle boating or cycling or running, you can't necessarily sort of say, hey, I'm going to be here, come ride with me, right? And that's something that I wish I could sort of add to the app, especially for travel and for other like sort of where you end up in the world sometimes, and being able to have a community of friends at your fingertips, basically.
Very cool. I definitely need to check out Strava now. So my next question, so we're on to question 3 of 7 here, is over to Soumya. If you're there, yes, hi Soumya. If you could have been the PM for any product in history, what product would you have been the PM for and why? It could be like anything, like back to when people first invented fire in the wheel. Over to you.
That is such an interesting question. When I was hearing other people talk about their favorite products, I was actually thinking of more contemporary and futuristic products. So the historical aspect is quite interesting. I would really have liked to be a part of the team that invented the mouse. I think that was such a, just from an interaction standpoint, that was such a leap in human innovation. Just not have to type in commands, select stuff on the computer through a mouse. I really enjoy the interaction part of product. I think the interaction, making the interaction a no-brainer for users, makes them use the product so much better and actually achieve their goals from the product. I think I would have liked to be at the pinnacle of UX innovation, which was the invention of the mouse. Yeah, thank you. Back to you, Kirsten.
Thank you very much. That was super interesting because I was like literally holding my mouse, moving it around the screen as you were saying that. So, and I am exactly going to follow that pattern. So the next question, question 4 of 7, is over to Richard. Hi, Richard. I am actually now going to flip it the other way and say, if you could be the PM for any product in the future, with money and resources being no object, so you could have flying cars, what would you like to be the PM for and why? Over to you.
Thank you for that question, Kirsten. So something that I'm really passionate about is trying to alleviate people's pain at the moment and kind of look at it from a more larger picture. So alleviate pain for the long term, not just do something which lasts for the next 5 years or 10. So with that, I know a company which recently raised a good amount of money, which is lower carbon, to reduce the carbon impact in this grand scheme of climate crisis and global warming. So I would love to be a product manager in that space, hopefully with lower carbon themselves at some point. The goal is to make solutions or build solutions which are more long-term, and also be part of policy making, which can then be applied across the board to tech, healthcare, automotive industry, robotic industry. So that would be my answer. Futuristic lower carbon is the name that I can remember right now, but I'm really hopeful that there are many more companies and there's a lot more financial support in that space moving forward.
Well, that is an extremely noble vision and a really, really beautiful thought. And I am totally going to be checking that company out. So the next question we have here, question 5 of 7, is over to Yan. Hi, Yan. I am just looking, oh, there you are, okay.
Hi.
If you could be the PM for any product mentioned in fiction, movies, or TV, so, you know, like Back to the Future, the hoverboard, or the food replicator out of Star Trek, what would you want to be the PM for and why? Over to you.
Oh, okay. So, I would love to be the PM for a Star Trek. What do you call, I don't know what it's called, but it's like where they beam themselves into like the little teleport into different, I don't know the name of it, but I would love to be the PM of that. Because I want to know, like, what was the research done to create this? Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. Because it's like, what was it called?
Transporter.
Transporter. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I would love to be the PM for that one, to see where the test of the process was to get it for it to be launched. Like, did they test it on rats and what happened to them? Did they disintegrate and things like that? I just want to be part of that process, the testing process, to see how that goes and to make sure to be there for where the first human or alien that went through the transporter for Star Trek. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm definitely going to go and double check that name now, because now I'm super curious. Next question. So question number 6 out of 7 is over to Amulia. Hi, Amulia.
Hi.
Hi. If you could pick one product manager from the past or alive today whose career you would like to emulate the most, who would you choose and why? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Kirsten, for that question. I think the product manager that I would choose is a founder, would be Whitney Wolfe Herd, the founder of Bumble. I think her career path is so interesting, starting from Tinder and really getting that firsthand experience of building an app like that, noticing the problems that were really occurring culturally, and being able to transition into building Bumble from the ground up and really creating a revolution for women in dating and really creating a whole new space for herself, and really being one of the pioneering female founders that we're really witnessing today. So that's definitely a career that I think would be incredible to emulate.
Thank you, Amelia. Great choice, great choice. So for the final question at the moment, if we still have time for question 7 in table topics, yes, we do. Awesome. Monique, is over to yourself there. Hi, Monique. If you could wave a magic wand and suddenly be working with or for any PM in the world today, who would you most want to be working with and why? Over to you.
Ooh, thank you. Okay, which PM would I love to be working with right now? I think, I don't know if he counts as like a working PM, but I love reading Marty Kagan's books. So anything like I could learn from him about empowered product managers and just all the different companies that he works with and sees how they do product management and tries to help these companies do product management in a better way. I would love to sit with him and work with him and learn and see what I can do and bring back into my current role, because I feel like he just has a wealth of knowledge, and I would love to like learn more about product management from him.
Thank you, Monique. So many awesome choices today. And I think hopefully we've been doing a lot of big career dreaming. So if I pass it now back to Toastmaster of the day, Sarah, back to you.
Thank you so much, Kirsten. Great job. And thank you all for joining our table topics round. So I just want to remind everyone, yes, please vote for the best table topics. Send that to Yen. And as a recap, we had Marguerite, Svetlana, Surma, Richu, Yen, Amulya, and Monique. It can be challenging to think on our feet, but it's an important practice, it's an important skill to practice, and you all deserve a round of applause. So now we're in our third and final portion of our meeting, the evaluation round. Our general evaluator recently stepped into the role of manager of product management, which was one of her goals. Congratulations. She aspires to focus on more strategic initiatives as she looks forward to more exciting roles in her future. Here to introduce her evaluation team of 3 speech evaluators, a counter, grammarian, timer, and vote counter, as well as provide feedback on the meeting in general, please help me welcome Amy Kirkland.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Today, during the meeting, I've been taking notes on everything that's happened. At the end of the section, I will provide my report on the observations I've made. But first, I want to invite our speech evaluators to evaluate the speakers. First, Tanya, can you please provide your evaluation of Erica?
Thank you, Amy. Erica, where are you? Where are you? I don't see you yet. Well, there you are. Hi. So your speech is so relatable. I enjoyed it so much. All the way, I can relate to the creativity that led you to product, and I can relate to the emphasis you have on girls and tech. I have 2 girls myself who are trying to find their way in this high-tech world, and it's really challenging. So I thoroughly enjoyed your speech from that standpoint. Things that I thought you did great, and I know this is it's a repeat speech, I guess, part of your pathways. I did go back and I reviewed, I rewatched a couple of your previous speeches and to get a feel for, you know, the things that you need to work on, et cetera. But for me, the things you did great. You seem so comfortable with the topic, and your enthusiasm for it shines through. Your pace was great. Your cadence and your flow were fantastic. You gave a summary up front, and it was which was awesome. And that's something that you have done throughout your speeches. The one thing that you might want to work on is Zoom. I know is really hard for eye contact, but for this speech, it seemed that your notes were on the right-hand side and you were looking at the left-hand side. So I found that a little bit distracting. I don't know if it could be more straight to the camera. So that was really, you know, one thing that I noticed. To challenge yourself, I noticed that your level of energy at the beginning you were very relaxed. You were doing very little, you know, you weren't referring to your notes. And then as the speech, you got into talking about yourself, I found that you got a lot more serious and a little more quiet. And then, so I just like maybe keeping the same level of consistency throughout the speech would be great. Otherwise, I thought it was fantastic. Great job. Back to you, General Evaluator. Sorry.
Thank you, Tanya. Next, Svetlana, can you please provide your evaluation of Elena?
Absolutely, I would be pleased to. Can we get Elena? Yeah. Oh, Can we get Elena on the screen as well? Awesome. Elena, I'm going to try and watch you while also I'm going to have to refer to some notes I made. All right. So great speech. Loved it. I love hearing you speak. And I mean, I made a lot of notes just from your speech, because for me, this was more of almost an instructional speech, where I think many of us, or I will speak for myself, I fully engaged in taking notes and sort of thinking through my own answers while listening to yours. And so for me, I would say you excelled at timing, right? Of asking questions and then allowing the audience to actually think through and put their thoughts down. I think all three speeches today had that element of engaging the audience. And so I think in terms of actually bringing in the audience to go ahead and think through and have time to write down their answers, you really got that timing right. And so, which helped in turn for people to learn and actually apply the framework that you provided. And then what I would say you may want to work on, though, is perhaps sprinkling in some anecdotes and storytelling. So basically, I would say that to challenge yourself, because you are already, I think, a great speaker and have amazing energy and engaging with people that you speak to. But I would say that it is tough just to balance engaging the audience to watch you, and while thinking through and jotting down potential answers to questions that you're posing to them. And then also delivering an instructional speech where the audience follows prompts and takes notes. So just some thoughts that I put down in terms of perhaps, again, to challenge yourself to apply to help with that. I would say maybe up the energy a little bit, even more, and provide some more vocal variety. Have more of an awareness and connection to the audience, and perhaps adding in basically some entertaining examples, right? Or mini stories that draw the audience back to you, if that's, because I think that would basically help you have a more playful interaction with the audience to supplement the instructional information that you're also providing, so that I can have my notes, but then also be pulled back to you each time that, you're saying something, or I know that I need to watch you because, she's going to crack a great smile or something. So that's my feedback, but really excellent speech. And I have a lot to think about myself, and I think a lot of us do. So thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana. And next, Marguerite, can you please provide your evaluation of Lori?
Definitely. So yeah, I love this speech. It was really inspiring, and it was a great story. I think the content was just really engaging. You had a lot of great quotes to illustrate your story, and I like the fact that it was a lot about your story as well as being instructional. I think you balanced that really well. And as I said, your story, illustrating sort of the instructions with your story can help other people build their career vision. I definitely was able to see what you were sharing. And I think your energy was really good. And like the vocal variety was great. And the things in terms of that you could potentially improve on, I think because you had so much great, the content was really great. And so Svetlana even quoted the same line or in the chat that I wrote down about making your vision so clear, your fears become irrelevant. Like, playing, I would challenge you to play with sort of using tone and things to like sell your speech even more. If you're telling this, if you ever do this speech again, like you could, I think you can go even farther in terms of just selling the story even more by playing with pauses and tone. The other thing I noticed was that I think there was, in terms of the 4 sort of steps, there was a little less the roadmap step when it was a little less balanced with the other points in the speech, and there was more time spent on the other ones. I don't know if that's necessarily a big deal, but I just noticed that difference. And what else? Yeah, I think otherwise it was really, I love your lighting and your confidence and even eye contact. I think when you lean forward a little bit, you could see a little glare in your glasses, but other than that, and yeah, and I love the background and how you use that to illustrate part of your story, and that was awesome. Yeah, but it was a really great and inspiring speech, and I definitely, obviously, I understand what you're working on, so it was inspiring for me on multiple levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Marguerite.
Thank you, Marguerite. And next, Heather, can you provide your grammarian report?
Hi, yes. So I think 2 people used the grammarian word of the day, cadence. The first one was Lori Edwards, and she used it in talking about how her coach is checking in with her at a regular cadence. So I thought it was a really great example. And also Tanya Sidolnik, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm saying your last name correctly, but she also used it in her evaluation of Erica's cadence, which I thought was great. And thank you for adding that in. If there's anyone else who used cadence, I'm sorry if I missed you. Did you use? Okay, sorry, Sarah. Thank you very much for using it. Can you say how you used it?
Yes, I spoke about the cadence of moving through the meeting on the very beginning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, I missed that.
Thank you, Heather. Yeah, I remember Sarah using it very, very quickly right after you announced it. She was right on the ball with it. Again, thank you, Heather. Let's see. Next, Jennifer, can you provide your timer report?
Yeah. So as we all know, we're oftentimes time boxed in terms of how much we're permitted how much time we're permitted to speak. And so timing is everything, especially in our sort of corporate world and keeping meetings on track and things of that nature. So from a timing perspective, I'm pleased to say that everybody was, for the most part, on time. There were a few exceptions here. Elena, you went over in your speech by just 25 seconds. So you came in at a total of 7 minutes 25. Lori, for your speech, you came in just 39 seconds over. So you were 7 minutes and 39 seconds. I would say both of you guys had really strong speeches, and it was just mere seconds that you guys went over. When it came to table topics, there was only one person that went a little bit over. It was Svetlana, just by a mere 30 seconds. So it's great practice from a table topics perspective to just be like nice, concise. You only went over just by a little bit. And then when it came to the speech evaluations, everybody pretty much came in on time. The only person, again, Svetlana, you have provided such great feedback for your speech, for your speaker. You only came in like 12 seconds over. All of that information that everybody provided as part of the evaluations was really great. And that's my timing report. Back to you, Amy.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And next, Monique, can you provide your counter report?
Yes, thank you, Amy. So I am supposed to be paying attention to words and sounds that are used as crutch or filler words. I have a list of everyone who spoke today. Sarah, I caught and a couple ums from you. Erica, you have about over 5 ums, 3 so's, a repeat, and Elena, a couple of repeats. Lori, couple of Kirsten, you've got 4 ums. Amy, an and being used. Tanya, over 5 ums and a couple so's. Svetlana, over 5 ums, a couple so's, repeats, and a couple times. Marguerite, we've got a couple over 5 you know. Heather, 4 and Jennifer, we got over 5 sorry, I'm going through the thing, and a couple so's. Sorry, we've got a lot of people who spoke today. Yen, 1 Shruti, 4 1 so. Samaya, 4 1 so. And Richu, 2 2 so's. And Amalia, we've got and 1 so. Back to you, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. Next, we'll have Yen give her vote counter report for the best table topic speech.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for Kirsten for the wonderful table topics today. And it was a very close call. It was, we had a tiebreaker for this one. So the person that won the best for the best table topics is Samaya. I'm hoping I said it right. I'm sorry.
Soumya.
Soumya, sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh. Amelia was a close second. Very close by 1. Thanks.
Thanks, Yen. Okay, so now I will give our my report for the meeting, my observations. So the meeting started on time, which was great. We had a little confusion with the meeting theme. We figured out that the meeting invite has the wrong theme in it, so maybe we can change that for future meetings, so that, because I think it's a recurring meeting, so that we can avoid some confusion. I think Erica and the Toastmaster Sarah did a really good job covering and announcing the actual theme and providing information about what we were talking about today. So thank you for that. Also, Suti, our SSA today, she did a great job spotlighting. Since I've done that role, it's quite a challenging role. So I think she did a really great job. So thank you for that. So Sarah, Toastmaster, you were very well organized, very well prepared. I really liked your formal intros, and you remember to keep our 1 minute between speeches, which I know in the past we've forgotten on the first speech or so. So that was really great. Grammarian had a great word of the day and great examples. I really enjoyed that. Kirsten, for Table Topics Master, I was a little torn on your approach, because in the past we've done to ask the question first and then pick someone, so that everyone has to pay close attention to the meeting. But I actually kind of enjoyed that you decided to pick the person first and then ask the question, because I think it puts less stress on people wondering, and they can actually wondering if they're going to be picked and be able to actually pay attention to the question, knowing that they are going to be picked, or that they are picked. And it also helps for spotlighting and making sure that everyone or the speaker is going to be ready and spotlighted ahead of time, so that everyone can see them. So I kind of liked the approach, but I know in the past we've talked about doing it the other way, where we've asked the question first and then pick someone, so that everyone kind of has to pay attention to the question. So I think both ways are great for us to do moving forward. Maybe we can switch off and see if other people like one way or another. Let's see. And great job on checking the time to make sure that your questions are fitting into the time that we had allocated. And then speech evaluators, I thought you all did a really great job, very thorough evaluations. Thank you for that. Grammarian, odd counter, and timer, all also very good evaluations. So thank you for that. And I think overall the meeting was a really great meeting. I really also liked that all of the speakers today were had speeches on the theme. I know that's not, certainly don't have to have it that way, but it was kind of fun to see that everyone happened to have their day and their speech was prepared for the topic today. So that was just fun. And I think made it really great. Great to hear everyone's speeches based on that theme. So, and I think that's it. So I will turn it back over to our Toastmaster, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate that. What a fantastic set of speeches and evaluations today. I love how our theme of dream your product management role and career was woven throughout the entire, whether the speeches or the evaluations. I found it inspiring and motivating, and I observed that more than one time the theme of vision keeps surfacing. So I really appreciated that. And so my call to action for all of us is to dream of what can be and then product manage your career. What I mean by that is start with discovery by doing research and doing informational interviews, prototype by shadowing someone in a role that you're interested in, iterate by finding what you like and what resonates with you, your values and your needs, and then launch. So having said that, I would like to invite Erica, our club president, to take the stage. Erica?
Thank you, Sarah. What a fun meeting today. I hope everybody had a good time. I would like to invite our guest, who I had. There you are. So Soimya. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
No worries. You'll get used to it. I'll keep correcting it, Soumya.
Soumya, thank you. We usually invite people just to share what you liked about your experience today. If you don't mind letting us know what you thought.
I really enjoyed, I think this was one of the best ways to spend Sunday morning. It was instructional, it was fun. I got to meet so many people and hear from them what their career visions are, and I can use that and sort of define what my career vision is in the rest of the day here. And I honestly really enjoyed the session. I learned a lot and I had fun.
I'm really glad that you found us. If you want to stay after, or we're about to close out the meeting, if you want to stay after and chat some more, we'd love to keep talking and see if we can get you on board. Without further ado, yeah, Lori is going to be around to talk about pathways. If anybody still has any pathways questions, any burning questions that you need answered. And if you haven't registered for pathways, please do so as soon as you can. Getting all members registered for pathways helps the club earn some perks. And it, that's the goal of being part of the club, is jumping into the educational program. So if you have any questions, please stay after. I am going to release it to Lori, who's going to talk about schedules moving forward. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Erica. So I am about to drop a couple documents in the chats. First one, meeting roles. So in here, you can see what role you will have for the next meeting. Just as everything else, this time I will update the calendar invite to have the right theme. I am so sorry about that, but our Sergeant of Arms, you did an awesome job talking about user testing, and that is 100% my fault. So I will definitely do that moving forward. You can also find the themes in this actual spreadsheet. They are listed at the top. So next meeting will be about favorite product management content or resources that people use, and Liz will be our Toastmaster. I will make sure that an email goes out with everyone's roles. If you can't make a meeting, the best thing that you can do for the Toastmaster and myself is to help find somebody that can cover your role. It gets pretty stressful as the Toastmaster if that happens at the last minute. So the more we help each other out, the easier it is on all of us. As Erica mentioned, I will be doing a pathways training after today's meeting in just a few minutes. So if you have any questions about pathways or honestly anything about the club in general, feel free to stick around. We're happy to answer any of those questions that you have. We're just a couple people away from having everyone signed up for a pathway. And this is where you actually learn like foundations that we talked about today about creating a vision and all kinds of fun stuff. So highly recommend you check out the pathways. The next one the next thing I'm going to put in the chat is a form, because the best way to know what role you're going to have is to literally tell me what role you want to have. That makes my life easy. That makes your life easy. You will notice that when you look at the meeting roles doc, people have been doing an awesome job at this. I love it. And we even got people signed up for their speeches. So we do have an open speaking slot on the 26th of September. I recommend that if you want to give another speech before the end of the year, this is a great place to sign up because people are filling up the speaking slots fast. Again, on that form, you can tell me what roles you want to have. I do my best to accommodate what you select. But of course, if we have multiple people for the same role, I got to decide which one's going where, but that doesn't mean you won't do it. We'll just probably put you in at another time. And from me, I think that's all I have. So if you guys want to stick around and learn about pathways, I'll be here with a couple of the other leadership team members. And with that, I think I turn it over to the Sergeant of Arms to close us out today.
Thank you, Laurie, and thank you, everyone. It was a great meeting, and this is to dream on and have a vision of everyone. The meeting is adjourned.
All right, I think we got everyone.